Yeah, so hello, everybody. I'm Justin. I'm the technical lead for SanteMPI. And I wasn't really sure what would be a good topic to kind of show in 10 to 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to show how we support, or some of the caveats and things that we do to support multiple standards in a client registry. So just before I get into demonstrating, just a quick overview of how we're able to do this. The way that we've designed the software is that we see messaging as an edge concern. The messages are all transient in our system. So if you send a Fyre message or an HL7 version 2 message, the system doesn't care that you sent it in Fyre or HL7 version 2. It converts it to its own internal format. And then it runs all of its business processes off of that. And what that allows us to do, and I've trying to save a little bit of time, so I've come up with a little SOAP UI test script that kind of runs through the demo, and I can quickly go through kind of what we do with the messaging. Is it allows us to support multiple audit formats, for example. So right now I have our demonstration system here set up to use Fyre auditing. And you can see as this test case is running, the system's broadcasting audits in Fyre format. But we know that not all contexts, or not all contexts will use Fyre auditing. They might use NEMA DICOM audits over syslog and UDP because they are a little bit faster. There's less overhead. So that's just a configuration change that we would make. And then the system just starts speaking NEMA DICOM audits. The next thing that we can do is the multi-format subscriptions. So this is an example. If anybody on the call is familiar with PMIR, is a subscription request to notify SOAP UI, my little demonstration rig, of any male patients that are registered. And this particular message is, you can see here, it's actually using a Fyre query saying, give me patients that have a gender of male. And then when I register a patient in Fyre, which I believe, I apologize, SOAP UI always scrolls to the bottom of the message when you open it. Right here. Yes. So we have a...
Just seeing your PowerPoint.
Oh, you're still seeing the PowerPoint? Let me...
Yeah, Justin, I think you're sharing a different screen than the one you think you're sharing.
Okay. Or I'm sharing just PowerPoint and not... Apologies for that. I haven't had my full coffee yet. Okay, so can you see SOAP UI now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let me just rewind it a little bit then. So you can see here quickly, these are all the audit events that the system is broadcasting for every action. Again, the audits are based off of the internal actions rather than what's happening on the wire, unless the wire level format has a specific auditing requirement, like some of the IHE standards have specific audit fields that they want set. So those would be in the messaging layer. But in general, the auditing is done at the core system level. And then here's a subscription request that we have. And we'll see here that the system is let me see if I can zoom in here, is asking for, and I don't know if the Zoom works in Zoom, but basically what this message is requesting is to be notified whenever a male patient is created. And you'll see it's in a Fyre format for the subscription. And then later on, when the test case registers a male, in this case it's Donnie Demo, the system actually broadcasts a bundle, which is that particular patient registration. But again, this isn't Fyre to Fyre, it's Fyre to internal model, and then the internal model triggers the pub sub layer, which then converts the message back into Fyre. And I have a sample here of the PMIR notification. So this would be, this is an example of the notification that came from the client registry being broadcast out to the subscribers in PMR format for the patient that I registered in PMIR. However, you can imagine, because we're firing the pub sub off of the internal layer rather than the messaging layer, it doesn't matter which entry point in the system that patient registration came through on. So I have here a version 2 PIX message, which is quite simple, to register somebody named Dunny Drake. And this quick v2 ACK comes back. And if I go over to SoapUI, once again, you'll see that there's a notification sent in PMR for the patient that I just registered using HL7 version 2, as well as the audit event for an ITI8, which is somewhere in here. Yeah, ITI8. So this would be a PIX audit, but in FHIR format, not in the NEMA DICOM or syslog format. And once again, I've kind of cheated and I've pre-copied out what that notification was, so I don't have to do it on the call. And you'll see here that the system has generated a FHIR bundle in PMIR for the patient that I registered in HL7 version 2. And again, we can then query back our patients. So for example, if I have a client that's using PIX-M, they're able to access the FHIR patients or the HL7 version 2 registered patients, and they're none the wiser of which format the original patient was registered in. So really it supports a heterogeneous standards environment. And then finally, just because there's only a little bit of time left, just to show kind of what we can do now that we have a standard internal format. I'm going to run here the FHIR match operation, which is not going to work because I need to get a new access token. So let me just grab one of those. And what you'll see is we have our HL7 version 2 patient and where's our, yeah, there's 2 total patients that match my query for matching Donnie Drake. And the system actually produces the matching report here based on internal match logic rather than the matching being tied to a specific messaging format. And I can also view that quickly on the user interface. Again, and this uses the internal scoring rules. But you'll see that it's actually my version 2 patient, which was Dunny Drake, is the A patient, and the B patient is my FHIR patient. And it, again, the matching didn't care that one came in on FHIR and one came in on HL7 version 2. They're logically a patient that was received by the system. So they should be matched and scored based on the match configuration. And then there are some considerations that we do to support this type of environment. What I'll do is I'll share the updated PowerPoint with the group, and it's just a list of some, if you're going to support multiple standards, what some of the considerations or caveats that we found while doing this exercise, and what some of our ways that we overcame them.